Okay, there we go. It's now recording, and I'm with Elias,
Yeah,
or Elias Toth,
Elias.
right?
Yes, exactly. Thank you, Otto. Elias Toth. Yes.
Elias, yes.
Yeah.
Elias, when I went to Quebec, when I went to Montreal, I was so interested about the Quebec market, and in fact, one of the reasons why I was so interested in the Quebec market was because I heard you speak at an event. Like you actually went up on stage and spoke to, I don't know, there must have been about 100 people there
Right.
at
Yeah.
least. And it was so interesting. And so I want, and because I'm doing a little bit, a little episode, this is the grand finale of the Quebec, investing in real estate in Quebec. And I wanted you to participate because you have a lot of interesting information about the Quebec market. So, so if you would please, just share a little bit about yourself, about your journey in real estate, and just give us all a debriefing on the pros and cons, or you can talk about all the benefits, or all of the cons, or whichever way you want to put it, really. But please educate us a little bit about yourself and about Quebec.
Absolutely. And thanks, Otto, for giving me this opportunity. I don't always do record calls like this, but I appreciate this invitation coming from you. I always had a good energy, a good connection with you, and I appreciate that. So yeah, a little bit about me. I live here in the Ottawa Gatineau area. More specifically on the Gatineau side. So we have a river separating Ottawa, which is in Ontario, from Gatineau, which is in Quebec. And I spent here almost all my life, growing up in Gatineau. Real estate wise, I started to invest in 2016. So in 2016, I have purchased my first duplex. And one of the ways I've done it, because I don't come from privileged, I was really, I read, so I don't come from, yes, exactly, privilege, or I was not gifted any large sums of money, but I always had a desire to buy real estate ever since I read that book, Rich Dad Poor Dad. And I
Yes.
had a chance, yeah, I had the chance to read it at age 18. So so it was always within me to work on building passive cash flow and passive revenues. And the real estate happened to be the best and most safest way to do so. Before buying my duplex in 2016, I have worked two jobs for about 2 years to put together the down payment and be able to acquire that. As we know, one job will only get you so far, maybe pay bills. But I feel that sometimes if you need to pay some debts or save some good money, a second job is a good strategy too.
Always
Uh,
helps.
it does help, exactly.
And this duplex
Um,
is in Quebec, right?
Correct. Yes, it was. I
Yes.
bought it in Gatineau, and so ever since 2016, I have sold that duplex. I made other purchases with that money, and right now I house hack. So I live in one of my units, and I have my rent paid. Almost not my rent, but my mortgage is paid
Your
almost
mortgage. You're doing that
100%.
right now?
I do, yeah, I do, yeah, exactly. I do this right now, and by house hacking, it allowed me to quit my 9 to 5 job and focus on real estate 100%. So another thing that's also helping, of course, is my partner, my wife, which is the best. Which is the best teammate. She's in my corner, and we're doing these projects together. And yeah, so I basically quit my 9 to 5 a few months ago, and I'm focusing right now on real estate as a realtor, real estate agent here in Quebec.
Wow, that's amazing, Elias. Like, so you bought a duplex because you just had it in you that you needed to buy a property with no previous education, except for the fact you read Rich Dad Poor Dad. Is that what triggered you to go and get this duplex?
Absolutely, absolutely. It
Yeah,
was,
yes.
yeah, totally getting. So this sparked the interest, and also the fact that um, my goal eventually in life is financial independence and helping others to achieve financial independence through real estate. So yeah, so that triggered that passion, and a few years later, I am house hacking. I got my realtor's license during the COVID. Um, yeah, currently I'm focusing on my first few transactions here in my market of Gatineau.
That's amazing. Yeah, house hacking is it's very interesting. I recorded a video recently about the myths in real estate. For example, one of them is the fact that we believe that our house is an asset where it really is a liability, and there's ways to convert it into an asset. And one of them is house hacking, meaning that you turn it into more than a single family residence. You turn it into 2 units or 3 units. You live in one of the units, and the tenants pay for your mortgage and everything else. So basically, your expenses go down. And I see, I didn't know that about you. That allowed you to actually quit your job, which in our circles we applaud, because many of us, we want our independence, and we try to use real estate investing as the vehicle towards that independence. So you're there already. You're a realtor now. You're focused in Quebec, correct?
That's correct. Yes,
That's your market in
exactly.
Quebec.
Exactly, by Ottawa, and I'm more focused on the Gatineau. So Gatineau is a city of about 350,000 people. And in Quebec, let's be clear, Otto. Quebec is the largest province in Canada, and it has different cities, and each one of this city has their own ecosystem, their own economy, their own industries,
When
and
you say
it's,
largest, sorry
it's
to interrupt. When you say largest, you're talking geographically.
correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So they has different communities, different. Please go on.
Yeah, exactly. So it's hard to speak of Quebec as a so Quebec is very diverse in terms of economy, industries. The market, for example, in Montreal is different from the market in Gatineau, and the market in Gatineau is different from the market in Trois-Rivières or in Quebec City. Each of these markets have their own specificities and are particular, right? So it's hard to be an expert in Quebec. It's actually the right way to say. So we, as a realtor, I collaborate with colleagues across the province. We have the ability as realtors to call our colleagues to collaborate on deals which are in different cities. But yeah, every city has their own specificities, and here in Gatineau is a beautiful market. We're right across Ottawa. The prices here of real estate are more competitive than the ones across the river. Are much
Oh,
about $200,000 on average less than what you would find
wow, that's
again.
big. Yeah, that's it. That's interesting to know. That's interesting to know. And just I like to add the fact that as a realtor, you also have real estate investing education, which is very important for real estate investors when they contact a realtor for help.
Yeah,
Is that you have the ability to look at properties from the investor's point of view,
exactly.
which maximizes profits at the end.
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up, Otto. Yes, exactly. So I'm an investor first. So this is how I started in real estate, is by investing, and I became a realtor afterwards. So when I collaborate with customers, with clients, with buyers, I always put them myself in their shoes, and I personally, I buy the properties and I try to help them the same way as I would be if I'd be in their shoes. With that investor lens, looking at a transaction or at the market.
That's amazing. So and now it's very interesting what you're just saying about the Gatineau area being lower in price by 200,000. That makes a big difference.
Yeah, so it's lower in price than in Ottawa, but if you compare it to other cities in Quebec, we are, I believe, after Montreal, the most expensive market in Quebec. So you can have and Gatineau. Let's also precise that. So we don't have that many. So in terms of multi-units compared to other cities like Quebec City, we have a fewer multi-unit. When I'm talking multi-unit, I'm talking about 10 or 15 unit and plus. We have fewer units than in other cities, but this market here in Ottawa, Gatineau, is rich in duplexes, triplexes, fourplexes. So and we have lots of them. So it has again. Every market here in Quebec have their own specificities and yeah.
Hey, that's okay. So if you wanted to go into Quebec and you're interested in say the 2Cs and the 3Cs, like some people call them.
Yeah.
So Gatineau is a good place to be at because we have good pricing and we have good contacts. For example, we have you.
Exactly. There you go. Absolutely. For sure. That market is my market. It's my main. This is where I operate. And here in Gatineau, we have the advantage also of having as the main employer in the region the federal government, which provides very stable jobs and decent paying jobs. So so your pool of tenants is pretty solid. Of course, you always have exceptions, but the tenants here usually have good employments and yeah, it's a great market for that as well.
So you're helping people look for cash flowing properties. Is that correct?
Exactly. So Otto, one of the so when I get contacted by buyers or potential clients, the goal is to buy proper cash flowing properties. So it's not only we're not looking. It doesn't happen often that I'm looking for appreciation. Appreciation is something good in a property, but we're of course looking to, when I'm talking with investors, we're looking for those for the cash flow. And again, my investor background, having an investor background, helps me help them achieve that.
Yeah, that's very important that you mentioned that, Elias, because I subscribe to that philosophy of not necessarily looking at appreciation. Many investors look at that, and there's nothing wrong with it. But you know, in terms of my philosophy, and I'm understanding it's yours as well, that because appreciation could be interpreted more as gambling because you really don't know where the market is going to take you. The market is going to go up or down. But if you have a property that is cash flowing right from the get-go, it doesn't really matter whether the market is down or it's up because you're still getting the revenue. And over a long term, that property is still going to appreciate. But the idea is that you're not acquiring the property to sell it anytime soon. You're acquiring it for the long term.
Absolutely.
Okay, so that would be ideal. Yeah.
Absolutely, Otto. It's yeah, and it's a mix of everything, right? Cash flow and appreciation, but of course, as investors are often focused on the cash flow and on the cash flowing properties. Another positive thing that I'm sharing with you, Otto, in my market here of Gatineau, is that the market rents are higher than any. It's one of the high. We have some of the most highest market rents in Quebec, which is a good, and of course, a bad thing. You know, we don't want to take this too far, but the market rents are very decent here in Gatineau. And of course, in Quebec, one of the main things when you invest in Quebec is that you must comply with the tenant board regulations. So that's something also that I like helping people with that are interested in investing in Quebec, is that I like to run them through some of the things you can do in Quebec and you can't. For example, you cannot raise rents, you cannot buy a building and send notices to the tenants to raise their rents automatically. There's a process for that. There are rules for that, and so everything is possible, but you might play with it within the rules of the game here.
Yeah, that's very important because I was going to ask you actually was it possible for me to take a property that is underperforming, renovate it? Many of us are used to doing this where we renovate and add value to the property with the expectation that we're going to get higher rents. So that's not necessarily what we could expect in Quebec or in the Gatineau area, correct? Is that what you're saying?
The law here authorizes you, Aro, to renovate a property and increase rents afterwards. So if you would buy a property and make renovations and renovate it, you could, of course, rent that property to so you could increase the rents. This is one of the ways you can optimize a property, is by making some strategic renovations and raising the rents afterwards. But the tenant board really has their eye on that, in the sense that so should complaints be received by tenants, that it's done with the objectives of having them out or of the property. So this could lead to some complications, but so it must be done in the right way.
Exactly, and the way to do it the right way. It's that.
Of course, there's exactly, you don't want to expose yourself to exactly a situation where you invest lots of money in a renovation and you cannot raise the rents afterwards. But there's a process again for that, and it's possible. It's possible to do so.
That's so cool. But so there are opportunities though, like you after you've been out there in the Gatineau area, you find that there's potential for properties that are underperforming. Have you seen around?
Oh yeah, there are opportunities in every market, and here in Gatineau we have lots of them, especially now with the recent rate hikes in terms of interest. Here in Gatineau we had a very hot market during the pandemic. Multiple offers were something very common. Now we see less and less of them, and the sellers are more open to negotiate the prices of their places. So again, when the interest rate goes up, price must come down. So this dynamic is currently starting here more than ever in Gatineau with the recent following the recent hikes.
It's hunting season.
It's hunting season. Let's go. Exactly.
Yes. Yeah, that's amazing. And one other thing, Elias, I've heard that there's more inventory in Quebec in general terms. Is that the case for Gatineau region too? Like, do you have a comparison in numbers between the Gatineau area and the rest of, say, Canada, or compared to other comparable markets?
Yeah, so in terms of in numbers, although here in Quebec, we definitely have a larger pool of buildings on sale, of multifamilies on sale. I wouldn't have the exact numbers for you today. Certainly, I can eventually pull them out, but it's in terms of in terms of the number of multifamily or apartment buildings, we are certainly the leaders here in Canada. So the numbers are great. And again, it's there's a lot. Quebec City is one of the cities here in Quebec where the price per door makes sense, and where you can find lots of multifamily, very interesting multifamily properties. So yeah, it all depends of the city, but Quebec does definitely have a larger pool of inventory, a larger inventory than in other provinces.
Oh, that's so cool, Elias. Listen, man, we could be here for a long time because I know that you have so much information to share. For now, what I'll do is, I'm gonna stop recording and then just stay for a couple of minutes after this call. And you know, if you want to tell people how to reach you,
Yep.
please feel free right now.
Absolutely. So right now, guys, my name is right underneath the right here. You can type that in Facebook and add me. I'm a realtor working for EXP. So currently, it's so yeah. Just shoot me a message on Facebook, reach out, and we'll see how we can work from there. I also like to offer to my to my to the people who approach me to sign them up for some automatic alerts on the Quebec market. So this way, anytime a deal comes up that corresponds to their criterias, well, they will get an alert. So that's one of the things that we could set up for you. And I'm always available to collaborate with you and make it happen.
Thank you so much, Elias.
Hey, my pleasure. Hey, it was nice meeting you, Otto. Yes, for sure. We'll
Nice
stick
seeing you
around.
as well.
Yes.
Yes, and
Yes.
we'll talk to everyone soon.